What's going on, guys? Omar Castillo here with Omar's Fitness. In this video, what I want to talk about is overcoming food addiction. There is a lot of tasty foods out there, and most of the foods out there are sweets, processed foods, and sugars. And of course, they do this, the food industry does this to increase sales, to get you addicted. Traditional sodas like Coca-Cola, Pepsi, 7-Up, Sprite, they're heavily marketed, and especially fast food where there's a lot of fat and there's a lot of sugar. So you should know that this food industry is trying to get you addicted to foods. But here's the thing, by being addicted to foods, it is really detrimental to your health. And so when people start a fitness program, I would say the number one obstacle is overcoming their food addiction. It's even more hard to overcome than even doing the exercises. And I say that because going to the gym and doing the exercises is really not that hard, but having to give up on these sweet, sugary, and processed foods, that's tough. It's tough because we're so used to eating these processed foods. We're so used to eating these sugary foods. It's become just an accepted part of life even. So what can we do? What are some things that we can do to help overcome some of these sugary drinks, sugary foods, desserts, and sweets? All right. So I'm going to tell you how I overcame it, and maybe this might be useful for you. Back when I started on my fitness journey, the first thing that I did to overcome my addiction to sodas was to switch to sparkling water. Sparkling water, you feel like you have that carbonation, but at the same time, it's really going to help you, because with sparkling water, it feels like you're drinking soda, but you're really not, and there's 0 calories. So you have that fizz, you have that carbonation. However, there's no sugar, essentially, 0 calories. Now, if that's too much of a jump for you from, let's say, a Coke to sparkling water, what you can do is go from Coke to Diet Coke to sparkling water. Now, diet sodas, they're not good for you either, but they can get you closer to transitioning from Coke to Diet Coke, or whatever the soda is, regular sugary version to the diet version, down to sparkling water, and eventually just down to regular water. That would be the most ideal step. It's very difficult if you're going to try to go from like sweet drinks to just drinking just water all day. It's too much of a gap. It's too much of a jump for a lot of people. So that's what I would say in terms of overcoming the sugary drinks, because it's difficult. And to overcome an addiction, it's going to take some willpower. You have to do it slowly. Don't try to accelerate it. You're going to fail if you're going to try to accelerate it. You need to do it slowly and be patient with the process when it comes down to the sodas. Now, the next thing are the foods. In order to stick to a diet, you have to choose the right foods. When you're building muscle, the number one ingredient and macronutrient is actually protein. That's what you have to have. Protein is by far the number one muscle building macronutrient that you need to rebuild the muscle, if your goal is to build muscle. And this channel is focused on building muscle. So how do you get protein? What I would say is you need to focus on getting protein from real foods and not rely on supplements. Supplements are just the icing on top, are just the little extra that you need to meet that protein threshold. So how do you know how much protein you need per day? Well, a simple way to do it is figure out your weight, and then from your weight, calculate your lean body mass. And you can do that by figuring out how much body fat you have. So if you have a certain amount of body fat, you take that percentage, you multiply that by your total weight, then you're going to get that number. You subtract that number from your total body weight, and then you're going to get your lean body mass. So for instance, let's say you're 170 pounds total, and then your fat percentage is, let's say 20%. 20% of 170 is about 25 pounds. You subtract 25 pounds from 170, you're going to get 145 pounds. So 145 pounds would be your lean body mass. So you take that lean body mass, and so if your lean body mass is 145 pounds, the recommended dosage in the bodybuilding community is generally 1 gram of protein per 1 pound of lean body mass. Not total body mass, lean body mass with the fat subtracted from your total weight. So that means that you have to have 145 grams of protein that you need to consume for the entirety of the day, from the time you wake up to the time you go to sleep. So that's what I would recommend. And if you can't get that by eating enough meat or chicken or all other protein sources like eggs, which is really good, or fish, then you can supplement. Let's say it's getting toward the evening hours and you still are not close to hitting that 145 grams of protein, you can basically supplement and use a protein shake and just use that to bridge that gap from where you are, from what you ate from regular foods, to where you need to be in terms of your minimum protein intake for that entirety of the day. Especially if you're working out 4, 5, 6 times a week, you definitely need that protein for sure. And another thing too is finding out what foods you actually like to eat. Now, this could take some experimentation. Now I'm trying to say which healthy foods you like to eat. Not just any foods, healthy foods. Foods that help you bring closer to your muscle building goals. Now, when you're building muscle, generally speaking, especially if you're in a caloric deficit, you want that protein content to be higher. So in terms of protein content, what I would say in terms of protein, you want to aim for about 60% of your diet from protein, and then, or maybe let's just say 75% of your diet from protein, and then 12.5% from fat and 12.5% from carbohydrates. So you can really increase your protein intake, especially if you're in your caloric deficit. If you're not in a caloric deficit, then what you can do is you can have, let's say, 50% of your diet from protein and 25% from carbs, and then another 25% from fats. So it's 50, 25, 25. 50 from protein, 25 from fat, 25 from carbohydrates, makes 100%. So that's what definitely you can do, and that's worked really good for me. Generally speaking, if you want to build muscle, you want to be in a caloric surplus. Now, a lot of guys are afraid, hey, I'm going to get fat if I just eat whatever. Yes, that's right. You don't just eat whatever. You have to eat, like I said, 50% of your diet, of your calories should come from protein, 25% of your calories should come from carbohydrates, and the other 25% should come from fats. Now, how much calories should you consume in a day? Well, for an average person, let's say 2,000 calories, but if you're really trying to build muscle, we can say somewhere around 2,300, 2,400 calories. That might seem like a lot, but think about it. You're building muscle here. You need an increased caloric intake in order for your body to recover, in order for you to have fuel for your workouts, and in order for your muscles to get rebuilt from protein. So give that a try and see if that works. That's really worked for me, and it's worked for me for many, many, many years, and I really believe that'll work for you. If you found this video helpful, please subscribe to this channel, hit the like button, share this video with your friends and family, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.